We are almost midway through the season for Texas Tech football, and in today's videos, we're going to talk about the X factors for the Red Raiders. Some, well, we already know, and then some others that have become crystal clear about midway through the season. 2 on offense, 2 on defense. Who do you think it is? Let's discuss it. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And hey, I just kind of want to jump right into this. This is a ton of fun to discuss because Texas Tech football is 4-1. They're going into a game against Arizona where, depending on the book you look at, it's about a 5.5 point spread. But there are some key guys that the Red Raiders have shown that, hey, if they go, good things happen for Texas Tech. So let's just jump right into it. But before we do, be sure to like the video if you haven't already. It helps us out here knowing on what kind of content y'all like. All right, let's jump into it. And let's get the obvious one out of the way. Tahj Brooks, okay? It's Captain Obvious. I get it, but it needs to be discussed because Tahj Brooks at worst, is a top 5 running back in college football, okay? He is top 6 in rushing in the sport while missing basically 1.5 games, if you think about it, because he missed the full game against Washington State, and then he did not play the second half against North Texas because you were just beating the brakes off the Mean Green. Okay, he makes life easier for Behren Morton in every skill position player on this roster on the offensive side, not to mention the offensive line. He makes them look a lot better than they have been this year. He is a guy that is truly an all-time great in the scarlet and black, and he is on pace of the recording of this video to break the all-time rushing record at Texas Tech. Okay, I'm just not going too far into depth because you have eyes. You know Tahj Brooks is an X factor for this team. So I just wanted to, say, hey, don't take his greatness for granted. He truly is one of the greatest Red Raider players of all time. I mean, he is an absolute bona fide superstar. Speaking of superstar, I don't know if people realize how good he's been. I know people think that he has been good or know he's been good, but maybe not to the certain degree that he has been. And that is Josh Kelley. Would it surprise any one of you tuning into this if you knew that Josh Kelley was just 70 yards away from passing the 2023 receiving leader for the Red Raiders? Think about that for a second. Josh Kelley is just 70 yards away from passing the leader in receiving yards for the Red Raiders in 2023, who was Lubbock's own Xavier White, okay? Kelley's only played 5 games, right? So he's a top 5 wide receiver in the Big 12. I don't really think that that's a debate right now. And he creates nightmare scenarios for opposing coaches. And he's clearly Behren Morton's best friend in the passing game, but I think he's also the best friend of guy like Koy Aiken, Caleb Payday Douglas, Jalen Conyers, because the attention he brings in the passing game gives Koy Aiken more one-on-one opportunities, gives Caleb Payday Douglas more one-on-one opportunities, so on and so forth down the line, right? Josh Kelley is a fundamental piece and the clear number 1 target in the Texas Tech passing game, and he already has 39 receptions. That would lead anybody last year on the Texas Tech roster, at least tie them. That's how many Xavier White had. Okay, Josh Kelley is a bona fide star in the Big 12 and the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver for the Red Raiders. And the best part about Josh Kelley is you can play him out wide. You can move him in the slot. You can move him in motion to see what the defense is doing in terms of man or zone. He is a bona fide star and just absolutely creates mismatches against the opposing defense. And if he's one-on-one, that's not a 50-50 ball, okay? That's an 85-15 ball for Josh Kelley. Simple and plain. He is a bona fide superstar in the Big 12. All right, let's shift to the defensive side of the football. But before we do, again, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube, almost 11,000 strong. Yes, you heard that correctly, almost 11,000 strong. Appreciate each and every one of you that tune in daily, told your friends about the show. And if you haven't, well, we would appreciate it if you did. All right, let's start on the D-line. And before y'all come at me, don't come at me. Don't come at me for this crap. There's one guy that stood out on this defensive line that has, how do we put this nicely, been boo-boo all year. I mean, 4 sacks in 5 games. There's no semblance of a pass rush Zero. But there has been one guy that has stood out in the run game and helping try and at least create that pressure for the edge rushers. And that's DeBraylon Carroll. This may surprise some people. I get it. He's not going to pop in the stat sheet, but go watch the film. DeBraylon Carroll has made an impact in the running game for the Red Raiders, most notably this past game against Cincinnati. And I know that they did not have their leading rusher in Kiner due to an injury. He only played one possession, and that was, well, to start the game. But DeBraylon Carroll had a sensational game against Cincinnati, and he's done so really quietly all year in terms of he's not doing anything flashy, but he's really good in the run game in terms of staying in his lanes and making sure that these running backs don't have the opportunity to get through the A or B gap, right? So he's done a phenomenal job in that regard. And I think some of the interior guys deserve some credit because I think that they've done a solid job because as an interior lineman, there's not many guys, and Corleone for Cincinnati is one of the few guys I'm about to describe, that can get to the passer, right? They're there for run protection and everything like that in terms of protecting the defensive line for not going forward too much and making sure that that running back has to run into a wall, right? That's what I mean when I say that. And Texas Tech has had a decent amount of plays there in the interior, most notably from DeBraylon Carroll, Quincy Ledet, and then Duda Banks. They've just had no edge rushers whatsoever right now, have the Red Raiders. But I'm very interested to see how Texas Tech adapts because you heard Joey McGuire in his press conference going into Arizona week discussing, hey, maybe we switch some things up and maybe we just rush 3, drop back 8. Right, and have a couple spies or two. Well, if that's the case, I would love to see the trio of DeBraylon Carroll, Quincy Ledet, and Duda Banks be on that in the defensive line, just those 3 guys right there, and just say, hey, we're going to throw our big tanks at you. Let's see if you can do anything about it with all the speed we have in the back, right? That's really what it comes down to, and DeBraylon Carroll has been the guy that stood out the most. All right. How do I want to word this? Because some of y'all might get upset. I could make the argument that this guy that we're about to talk about is the most important defender in the Joey McGuire era, not named Tyree Wilson. I could make that argument. I'll give you a second to think about who I'm thinking of. You got it in your head? All right. Braylon Lux. Is he a first-round pick like Tyree Wilson? No, he's not. Is he an NFL corner? Hell yeah. But he is by far the best corner the Red Raiders have. And it's really not close. And a lot of that has to do with the experience factor for him. You think about what he did against UNT. He shut down one of the best wide receivers, albeit I get it. It's not a power 4 team, power 5 team. I get it. But he had that pick 6. He made really Chandler Morris's life a living hell out in the 806 when Braylon Lux was on his side of the field in the first half. But the thing that I think Braylon Lux does more so than really anything, and he has a ton of positive traits, is he allows everyone else to fall into place. And what do I mean by that? You don't have to push some of these young guys into a situation they've never been before. Okay, you think about Macho Stevenson, who played good against Arizona State, but he struggled. Let's just call a spade against Cincinnati, right? You bring in some of those young guys, they're struggling in the secondary. Having a veteran presence in your lead corner like Braylon Lux on the outside really changes things, and I don't want to say relaxes the defense, but makes them more comfortable in the sense of their position being more natural to them, okay? Mo Horn doesn't have as much pressure on him in terms of being that lead corner anymore. This is the first year he started, right, Mo Horn. Braylon Lux is a veteran. He goes in there, and he can be the shutdown guy the Red Raiders need. Now, again, he's not a first-round pick. I understand that. But you have to have him on the Texas Tech defense if you even want to get incrementally better in that secondary. Because, again, this sounds crazy, and y'all can call me out for it, but I think I really believe this in my heart of hearts as it stands right now after 5 games. Braylon Lux, outside of Tahj Brooks and Behren Morton, is the most important player on the Red Raider roster. That includes Josh Kelly, okay? He is that important, in my opinion, to that secondary and having the pieces fall into place when he's on the field. It's that simple to me. And I'm not saying that when Braylon Lux is healthy, Texas Tech is going to have a Georgia-type secondary. No, 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 no. I think it'll be a lot closer to average. And if you have a lot closer to average secondary, right, that's going to help your pass rush. And you know what that's going to help overall? The team that you're going up against not score as many points. And that means your offense can still hum really like they have all year. I mean, we're talking about a top 12 offense in all of college football right now, okay? But I think it all starts with Braylon Lux, and he is the true epitome of an X factor for the Red Raiders on the defensive side of the football. All right, that's going to do it. Those are the 4 guys. I am sure that if they play well, I think Texas Tech chances of winning exponentially increase. And obviously the one I left off there was Behren Morton. He's a huge X factor as well. But I went more of the skill route outside of the quarterback position for these X factors. Let me know if you disagree or agree with me down in the comments below. And before you head out, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to once again join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube. And listen, the best 2 parts about it, it's 100% free, and I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Listen, I can admit when I'm wrong, but I can also admit when, hey, there's things that need to be changed, right, on this Texas Tech roster. I'm just like you guys. I'm a fan, but I'm going to keep it a buck all day, every day. So join the largest group of Texas Tech fans right here on YouTube by simply liking the video, hitting that subscribe button, and turning on that notification bell.